Hello, folks. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about tools and life, right? Tools or things and life. So, we have a lot of tools for our lives. Um, how we use those tools is what matters. For example, let's take an example of knives. This is an analogy. Of course, this is not an explanation, and so it's an analogy and it's an example. So knives, a killer can use a knife to kill, to stab a person or whatever. But the same knife or some similar knife can be used by a chef to cut vegetables, to cut meat, to cook food, right? So it really depends on how you use a tool. So there are a lot of tools in this world that have two sides or multiple sides to them, and depending on which side you choose to use the tool as and how to use the tool, depending on how you use the tool, it can be beneficial for you in the long term or beneficial for you in the short term but problematic for you in the long term. Some example tools would be internet, social media, your phones, your devices like iPad, or laptops, computers, desktops, right? And whatnot. So internet, social media, one can actually use it to actually consume unnecessary stuff. I mean, it's a very subjective term, but stuff that is not going to help them in their life in the long term, and spend too much time on entertainment and whatnot. I mean, how much time should one spend on entertainment? Like if your lifetime is, let's say, 100 years, for example, how much percentage of that time, or how much time of those 100 years would you use for entertainment? Would you use 50 years? Would you use 60 years? Would you use 10 years? I don't know. You really have to decide how much percentage of your time on this earth you want to spend on entertaining yourself and whatnot. And surely I think we all need some level of entertainment. For example, I sometimes lack so much entertainment that I end up entertaining myself too much, then basically depriving myself of entertainment so much that my mind craves too much of it. Anyways, it's important to understand your tools and how effective they are and how addictive they are, depending on what you use it for, where you use it, how you use it, right? For example, social media can be really addictive because it is built that way so that more people use it, more people create content, more people consume the content, more people see the advertisements, the campaigns on the platform, and hence the platform gets paid for the advertising, right? So a lot of the social media and the internet works on advertisements, and some of them works on proper paid content. Funnily, there are services which have paid content and they still have advertisements. For example, India has this thing called Disney Plus Hotstar. If you pay for it, you'll still see advertisements on it for cricket, right? Because that's how they earn money for cricket shows, like cricket streaming, apart from paid service, right? Like they'll get money from you and they'll still show you ads, though usually people get money from you just to not show ads. Anyways, I think the amount of ads reduces or something, or actually in some cases you can't even see the content if you don't pay. So you have to pay, you still see the content. It's not like you can pay more to avoid the ads. I don't think you can do that, like even if you want to. That's the funny thing, right? So it's getting really dark now. So every tool, every thing in life, in this world, on this earth, you can use it for your benefit, and it's a very subjective term, or you can use it to actually self-destruct yourself. So a lot of tools are self-destructive because they are addictive and provide short-term benefits, but in long term they are not great. Short-term benefits such as they provide a lot of pleasure, and they make you get addicted, they make you feel good, and using social media, using food and whatnot to make you feel good, especially junk food, bad social media, excessively addictive or too much unnecessary excessive social media, all these are unhealthy. All these unhealthy stuff can be actually problematic for you in the long term. In the short term it will feel good, yeah. The only pro is you will feel good, pleasure, you will entertain yourself, but in the long term it might be problematic for you depending on how much you consume and use these tools and how much you get addicted to them, right? So I think it's important to look at everything in your life with different sides to it. It usually has different facets, 2 or more facets, and every facet has its own pros and cons. So I would say look at the pros and cons, understand the pros and cons, be self-aware, be aware, be careful about how you spend your time, how you use your tools and services and whatnot in your life, so that you actually benefit from them properly, right? And that's all I had for this video, talking about tools in life, and more stuff, related stuff, and how they can be beneficial sometimes based on how you use them, or they can be actually destructive, especially self-destructive, right, and chaotic based on how you use them. So yeah, that's all I had for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.